Story 1. These are generally true, but I learned them from relationships with women. Pay attention to how they react to stress. Life is one stressful event after another, and if they lash out or crumble under pressure, it is best to move on as quickly as possible. Selfish people are always selfish. Avoid them accordingly. If you cannot be weak or vulnerable and share your feelings with them, then steer clear. The first and only time I was vulnerable with my ex-wife while going through health issues, she cheated on me. Physical intimacy compatibility is extremely important and underrated by people entering relationships. Make sure they have space for you mentally and emotionally. You should be a priority, which requires space. Story 2. That all men pay for the sins of bad men. You can be the best and most genuine person in the world, and every woman may see you as a potential threat until you prove them wrong. Learning this when I started dating as an adult after college completely changed my perspective and how I interact with women when I first meet them. I have to do my best to be less creepy because anything I say or do, even if it is innocent, could be seen as a threat. Story 3. Two good people who care about each other will not necessarily make a good couple. That was a tough lesson to learn. Story 4. 1. Hurt people hurt people. No matter how much two people say they love and care for each other, one can decide to walk out of the other's life any day. If your gut is telling you she is being unfaithful, she most likely is. Red flags are real. Parental relationship issues are real. Unresolved childhood trauma is real. Behavior patterns are real, and they are all interconnected. Becoming self-aware of your own unresolved childhood traumas and behavior patterns is just as important as recognizing your partner's. Seek therapy. Work on yourself. Story 5. Actions speak louder than words. If you get the feeling someone does not care about you, they do not care about you. People cannot feign genuine love all the time. You will see through a facade if you pay even a little attention. Story 6. 2020. That I was worth loving. A girl I was crushing on who rejected me but was still caring. 2021. That I was on my own, my mom. 2022. That I need to have boundaries. 2023. That I was desirable, entered my first relationship. 2024. That I shouldn't live for their happiness because their unhappiness becomes soul-crushing, relationship went sour. 2025. That I must preserve my energy and happiness like they are more precious than gold, broke up in emotional recovery. Story 7. Stay away from women whose only support system outside of you is strongly religious in any way. They may act like that is not true, but it is genetic and they will not change it. It manifests in some form or fashion. Story 8. You can spend a lot of time with someone, and in the end, you slowly realize you may not have ever really known them at all. Story 9. You cannot show love in a way another person does not value and expect them to appreciate it. Some people only speak their own language, and anything outside of their mental framework is indecipherable to them. Dirty people do not value cleaning. Rude people do not value politeness. Wasteful people do not value preservation. Story 10. Mothers can be terrible people, but just because they are your mother does not mean you have to tolerate it. Story 11. Somehow, I went way too long through my life unconsciously believing women were better people than men. Through multiple extremely hurtful lessons over many years, I learned that women can be just as egotistical, sadistic, selfish, superficial, and all-around bad as men. It sounds foolish now, but I wish I had learned that lesson sooner. I experienced a lot of pain completely blind, with no guard up at all. Somewhat related, I used to think my success with women was a direct reflection of how good a man I am. Well, I let that belief go shortly after. Story 12. I still need to put a lot of work into my own healing and self-love journey before I am ready to truly be there for someone who is already far along in their own healing journey. The progress I thought I was making was not enough for the amount of time it was taking. Wanting things to work is not enough if you are not putting in the effort to make the changes you need. Story 13. To love with reckless abandon. To love fully, honestly, openly, and completely. True love is a rare gift that is very hard to hold on to. Forever is not long enough. Story 14. You cannot reason your way out of an emotional confrontation. I do not even remember what the argument was about now, but I do recall what my first serious college girlfriend said to me during a fight. She was upset about something I did or did not do, and I calmly went through the reasons and circumstances that led up to the disagreeable outcome. I then punctuated my explanation by stating that I was doing the best I could. Her response was, "Your best is not good enough." That really blew my mind a bit at the time. I was trying to understand how you can angrily hold somebody accountable for things that are out of their control. The lesson is that some people just want to be mad, and they are looking for someone to place it on. Story 15. Sometimes people come into your life as a blessing, and sometimes they come into your life to be a lesson. And the hardest changes are those from the ones you thought were a blessing but turned out to be a lesson. Those women teach you a lot. Story 16. Nothing I ever do will make her happy, and I cannot take on that responsibility. If she is not able to find happiness on her own, nothing I do will be enough. Story 17. I learned this lesson from a woman. Someone can like the idea of you, but not you as a person. I had a girlfriend who liked me for who I was physically, but once she got to know me, a nerdy guy who enjoys typical nerd hobbies like video games and horror movies, I suddenly became the butt of her jokes. She always shut me down when I talked about my hobbies. My existence was merely because she thought I looked attractive, so she had someone to take her own pain out on. If I tried giving her the moon, she would ask why I didn't give her the galaxy. It was a miserable 10 months, and I am still recovering. This experience has made me terrified to date, even though I am very lonely. I am afraid to open myself up to a woman again if it is just going to leave my soul crushed. Story 18. Do not lose yourself for another person. They started a relationship with you because of the person they met. Do not throw that person away and become someone new just to cater to them. Retain yourself. If that becomes an issue, it is not the right relationship. This one is a little darker. When you know the end is near, leave first. Be sure, but it will help you retain some dignity. Even if you do not want to leave, it is better than begging. Story 19. My ex-wife taught me that when a relationship is all about one person, it will not work. It is supposed to be a partnership, not just one person making demands and giving orders. It is okay to expect things for yourself in a relationship. Story 20. Everything can feel right. You can share laughs, wonderful days, and feel a deep connection and compatibility like you have never felt with another person. Still, it may not work out for reasons that are unclear. Takes two, no matter how right it feels to you. Both people have to be in the right emotional place at the right time. Story 21. You can give your partner all of yourself, but you cannot expect them to do the same. They either love you or they do not. Story 22. They are not more virtuous or more innocent than men. They are equally capable of evil, crime, and immorality. Story 23. From now on, when a woman I am interested in requests that I open up, I will do so gradually and test the waters first. Story 24. You will not fix her, and she will never love you once she fixes herself. The parts that attract you are the trauma responses. It is not worth it. Story 25. Boys are just as soft and sensitive as girls. They just cannot express it openly by saying, "Hey friends, let's watch a movie and cuddle because I am sad." Story 26. Intellect and personal values are more important than beauty. A woman can be the most attractive person you have ever seen and still not be right for you. Story 27. When we had sex and cuddled afterward, she said, "You're so sweet and considerate. Not like the heroin addicts I used to date." Story 28. You can do all the right things and treat her how she wants to be treated, and it still may not be enough. This can be applied to all people if they are not honest about what they want from a relationship or if they do not know themselves. The one receiving the lesson only knows as much as the other person tells them. Story 29. You can be beautiful on the outside but ugly on the inside. I divorced her and married someone who is beautiful on both the inside and outside. Story 30. You can have very extreme cultural differences even when you are both white and grew up in the same area. I have never had a more heated argument over nothing than I did about the proper way to load a dishwasher. Story 31. My first girlfriend taught me how to simply take a pen and a piece of paper and list my priorities and tasks. It literally sorted out my life. Thank you, Elizabeth. Story 32. What borderline personality disorder and covert narcissism are and how they can severely affect you in every possible way. I no longer trust women. Story 33. Emotions, no matter how illogical, can take precedence over everything else you thought mattered. Hormones are real, and situations can change rapidly. Story 34. You cannot control the outcome, so stop trying to fix every situation. It is what it is. Let it be, or you will lose that thing faster. Story 35. Do not love her more than yourself. She will remember only two things: the good she did for you and the bad you did to her. Story 36. I was expected to give up my happiness for the marriage, but she always had the option of giving up the marriage for her happiness. Story 37. You have to watch what they do, not what they say. I understand why they do it, but I still do not like it. Story 38. The idea that women handle emotions better than men is false. I will admit more men need to follow their emotions more often, but one gender is not certainly more in control than the other. Story 39. What social courage is. Women can be emotionally changeable. You can be their hero one moment and the villain the next with very little real input. You have to decide who you are going to be as a man and follow your own compass. Develop discipline and a vision for your future. Otherwise, you will get dragged around by female partners making decisions based on how they feel in the moment. Story 40. Love dies. The person you were with also dies. When they leave, you will have to rebuild yourself, but you will not be the same person you were before. You will forever carry those memories and that regret. No matter how far you travel, how many partners you have, or how many intoxicants you consume. Love dies. Story 41. Early in high school, I tried talking to two girls who were interested in me at the same time. They both found out and then both stopped talking to me. Important lesson to learn. Story 42. Do not wait up. 10 years chasing the same girl, only to have her disappear for 10 months and then reappear to invite me to her wedding. Story 43. Never give 100% to a relationship, because if the relationship falls apart, you lose 100% your entire investment. Make sure you keep a piece of yourself so if things fall apart, you still have a foundation to rebuild from. Story 44. No matter how much they seem to want to be with you, it is because they do not have you. When they do, their interest may easily shift to the next thing they do not have. Story 45. You never truly know a person. They can seem nice, but if they have a history of poor partners and situations resulting in sexual assault, it might be a red flag and they may gravitate towards it. I'm not saying this applies to everyone, but be mindful and cautious. I literally asked a girl out with this kind of history because she showed a lot of interest in me. She said yes, but kept delaying giving me a date of availability. I wasn't trying much anymore because waiting 3 weeks to take someone out to dinner is unreasonable. I wanted to get to know her and enjoy a good meal. We just kept casual small talk until she finally said she wasn't interested. I don't know what I did, but she decided to mess with me and handed her phone to her male coworker to try and cause trouble. It was hurtful, and honestly, I've never had a romantic partner purposely do something to hurt me. It was very eye-opening and humbling. What a huge red flag, and I feel sorry for her now. Story 46. People change. It is nobody's fault or anything, just a fact of life. Sometimes people change in ways that no longer suit their partner, and they drift apart. But there are always other people who will live up to your expectations. So do not give up if things do not work out. I am still searching myself, but I will find them eventually. Who knows? Maybe I already know them and just have not realized it yet. Story 47. So far, just because she offers you her phone number does not mean she will message or call you. Being ignored. Story 48. 1. They are loyal to their emotions. You can do 1,000 good things and everything right, but she will always remember the one bad thing you did or something you did not do. They will tell you or show you who they are in the beginning. You just have to pay attention or listen very well. Story 49. Damn. I came thinking about how much guys' mothers helped them and got a course on how women will use and abuse you with no remorse, all for their gain. These comments are depressing. If I were not married already, I would probably stay as far away from women mentally and emotionally as I could. Story 50, Partial differential equations. That was the moment I truly questioned whether I wanted to be an engineer. Story 51, I did a class in fourth-level mechanics. I found solving some more advanced Lagrangians kind of hard to do, but I did get the hang of it. I would say that is the hardest lesson a woman has taught me. Story 52. My aunt told me men do not receive unconditional love. Is my aunt a horrible person? Maybe. Is her statement wrong? No, it is not. Story 53. Some people are not bound by a moral code. By that, I mean that some women will use or abuse you solely because you allow them to, and those same women will not use or abuse you solely because you do not allow them to. Most people with a moral code will not use or abuse someone just because that person allows them to. Instead, they will see that the giver lacks boundaries and choose not to exploit the situation. However, other women will see that the giver lacks boundaries and prey on them. Story 54. Just because they look like angels on the outside does not mean that they are not demons on the inside. Story 55. She can leave me, and the government will force me to give her more than half of everything I have ever worked for. It can be for any reason or no reason at all. There is absolutely nothing I can do about it. Story 56. Never give a woman your whole heart. Keep a piece for yourself, just in case she destroys what you give her. My current wife taught me that in a literal way. Story 57. On the upside, I can be loved and valued for who I am. On the downside, one woman said she could feel I am not a man, and that was all the explanation she needed. Story 58. Her love can be conditional based on both whim and choice, but mine is meant to be unconditional. No matter how she hurts me, I cannot get upset because that would mean my love is not unconditional. Story 59. Patience, calmness, and not focusing on women. I would say everything happened for a good reason. I might not have been able to discover myself if she had become mine. Stay strong, brothers. Story 60. Loving someone with all your heart does not necessarily mean you will be able to help them. If they are not willing to help themselves, it is a lost cause. The last 4 women I have been involved with have all died. 3 of them died due to their addictions and refusal to get clean. The 4th one, actually the 3rd in order of occurrence, did manage to get clean, sober, and get her life on track, but then died suddenly from a medical incident completely unrelated to any of her previous addictions. After the 3rd one, I learned not to enter into a serious relationship with anyone who actively has an addiction. However, that does not prevent me from caring about them. You might think I was also an addict or using with them, but nothing could be further from the truth. I do not drink or use drugs. Story 61. No matter how they manipulate or hurt you, you will be made into the villain. Despite their actions, you may still love them. You will then be left in limbo, silently suffering. Story 62. Especially when she brings her best male friend, when she was engaged to me. I left her 4 years ago after being cheated on. Story 63. Women have fragile hearts, and you can cause them significant emotional pain. I am not talking about weakness. I am talking about a beautiful gift that can be broken. Story 64. Giving a woman everything you have will make her respect you less. Give a woman your love, but never all of your love. Story 65. As a woman, I am so sorry for how you have been treated. I hope you find someone who treats you right. They are out there, although difficult to find. Story 66. Outside of discussing when asked with a significant other, it is best if men never refer to a woman's menstrual period. Ever. Stay completely silent about the issue. A comment about a woman's cycle should never be uttered. Whether positive or negative, observational or functional, just do not say a word about it unless asked by a significant other. Story 67. No amount of relationship history, breathtaking beauty, or amazing sex is worth being repeatedly emotionally and psychologically abused through anger, insults, yelling, and name-calling. I learned my lesson and am mostly healed. I survived, but she broke me for a few months. I am still here, back to strength, and recovering. Next time, I am going for a church-oriented partner or a traditional partner and staying mostly single for a few years. Story 68. You are entering into a relationship with a younger version of her mother. If you do not like what you see, there is a high chance she will become like that one day, both visually and in her behavior. For example, if there is a history of infidelity for any reason, there is a high chance she will copy that trait. They will stay with you as long as they get what they want from you. Trust no one. People evolve over time. That applies to you as well in both good and bad ways. You are not the same person as you were at the start of your relationship. Trust your intuition. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you feel something is off, there probably is. I learned this the hard way. Small physical gestures can say a lot. Did she kiss you when you came home from work? Does she want to hug or touch you when she passes you in the kitchen? Story 69. She is not mine. It is just my turn. It does not matter how long we have been together, how many memories we have shared, how connected and happy we are. As soon as another man who is better than me comes into the picture, she will be gone. Story 70. Everything will be your fault. Even if she was unfaithful, it is because you were not giving her enough attention. Story 71. Their mood can change at any time or moment, regardless of how things are. One day, everything could be fun, and the very next day, she could pretend like you don't exist. Story 72. No matter what you do to emotionally support her, when it is your turn to receive support from her, once or twice it can feel like a trap. Story 73. I have been married for 33 years, with all the challenges that brings. The wildest thing I have ever seen is how quickly a friend or family member's wife will turn on them like a rabid dog the moment the man has any problems. When I hear that women are statistically the primary initiators of a breakup, I believe it. Especially when I see references to a primate that won't let go of one vine until they have their hand on another. There is some truth in that. I consider myself fortunate to understand this and refuse to tolerate it. This is at the core of why women are statistically the primary initiators of divorce. When you are not at your peak provider level, their loyalty ends. It is a tale as old as time for men in relationships. Story 74. Do not ever believe a woman's promises. She will only keep them until she does not feel like keeping them. That was a painful lesson to learn. Story 75. Always keep one foot out the door. Be ready to walk away anytime. Do not tolerate disrespect or let others cross the boundaries you set, thinking you will keep them that way. You will not. They see it as weakness and will leave anyway. If they are crossing your boundaries or disrespecting you, it is already over from that point. Story 76. They come with a sense of entitlement. Case in point, they will read posts marked men only and think, I will just comment anyway. Story 77. Promises have meaning only at the moment they are spoken, because a week or two later, she might suddenly end the relationship and establish a no-contact policy. Story 78. Don't ever feel rushed to make something happen. It is better to let things simmer and realize life is long. If you cut people off, you will never allow something to eventually happen. Story 79. The desire for emotional intelligence reflects the need for acceptance of being influenced by emotions. Story 80. No matter how much effort you put into being a good partner, she still might cheat. It has happened enough times to me that it will eventually happen. This has made it so I can no longer do relationships. Story 81. You can talk all you want, but if you really want to communicate, you have to know how to make another person listen. You have to speak their language. If you don't know how to do that, you might as well be speaking in French while they can only listen in German. This foundation is essential to learn in order to be in any romantic relationship. Friendships with women, on the other hand, are much less stressful. It still hurts when they block you because their boyfriend doesn't like you, though. The funny thing about that last part is that I can be friends with a woman, but after they block me for such arbitrary reasons, I'm going to wait for my turn once they come back just to be spiteful. I don't care about being toxic, and spite is hilarious. Story 82. Trust none. First mistake. Thinking woman 1 liked me. She liked my money if I was not stingy. Second mistake. Thinking woman 2 liked me. She wanted me to start the relationship by buying things for her. Third mistake. Woman 3 just wanted a ride to a party. Fourth to nth mistake. Looking at the requirements for being eligible for a date on Tinder. Story 83. Why are these comments full of borderline insults? Because people want to argue with me. Here are some of the problematic statements I found in this thread. A lot of women are really troubled, and it's kind of an unspoken epidemic. Telling them anything they can use against you means they will use it against you one day. This is something we don't usually do, but women do all the time to each other, and guess what? It's just a reflex. They don't love you. They love what you can do for them. Do you notice what they all have in common? As if all of us are lying, cheating, neurotic. I've been with my now fiancé for over 5 years. He's my best friend. Some of you need to talk to a professional. Being so negative about the opposite sex sounds miserable. Story 84. When you share emotions and feelings with a woman you love, that is when you start driving them away. In a relationship, the woman is the only one who is supposed to express any feelings, and it is okay for you to listen and change. When you share your feelings and needs, you are being controlling, making them miserable, and pushing them away. Now I know why so many men stay silent and have heart attacks at 46. I am 39. We will have ours soon. Story 85. We accept the love we think we deserve was just code for I wonder how much abuse you will put up with until you leave me. Story 86. You never truly know what someone is thinking or feeling. You can be lied to and manipulated without having a clue. When you are removed from the situation and see it for what it was, you question your entire reality. Story 87. My mother taught me that no matter how right I was, it did not matter because she was my mother and she ultimately held all the power. Story 88. Women explore their opportunities long into relationships and cheat to a much larger extent than we believe. Story 89. What kind of shenanigans are going on in this thread? None of my replies to responses to comments are showing up. Story 90. If they like you, you get their attention. That is the universal sign for we like you. And you better make a move or we will break your heart and disappear. Story 91. For some reason, even though I pay the bills and everyone comes to me for an answer, if I give an unwarranted answer first, I am probably wrong. Story 92. No matter what, you cannot trust most of what they tell you. That information changes constantly. Story 93. They cannot be trusted. They are incapable of what we think of as love, and they have the same understanding of the concept of honor as a blind person does of sunlight. Story 94. Hypergamy is relentless. It is not malicious. It is in their nature. 10 years together. Love, marriage, house, kids. She is always searching for a better option. The game never ends. Remember that, fellas. Story 95. Do not trust women no matter how many times they say sorry, even if you believe they will change after their mistake. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.